See, it's so funny. You know, I have to tell you, I was back in Kansas City again, and I went to my old grade school, St. Anne's Grade School, and I did a master class with them. It was their 7th and 8th graders, and they were doing Little Mermaid. I might have taken a little time away from Ariel, demonstrating part of your world. I was like, shut up, kid. No. I'm just kidding. But you know what was amazing to me? That this little boy sang Flounder. His name was Nick, and he was like, she's in love. I was like, what can I say to that? Do you know what we worked on? Diction, freeing up the breath, simplicity. And I sat there and I thought, my gosh, that is a lifelong, universal search that we're on. And this is what is so cool about what we do, is that it's a metaphor for life. Maybe not the diction so much, but expression. Express yourself, you know. I mean, it's there. Get connected to your breath and keep it simple. These are things that you don't conquer. I think you guys are probably in a mode right now where you feel like, I've got to get it, I've got to figure it out, I've got to get it. You never get it. You get more of it, which often means you're getting less of it. I know it sounds weird, but you're finding more and more simplicity, and then you find trust, but you never arrive. This is what's frustrating and amazing about the journey that you guys are on, and we are on, and little Ariel and Ursula. Ursula was awesome. She was like, and I thought, you know, she's been in the mirror for like 5 hours choreographing that, right? I thought, you know, it's what we do. I just loved being with them because the journey for them is the same as here, is the same as me on a stage learning a new role or revisiting a thing, the same. You guys have questions? Anyone? Bueller? Yeah, hi.
Well, first of all, thank you for everything. You are magic. So, anyways, my question is, how do you go about singing coloratura phrases, the ones that are really long, and there's hardly any time to breathe and rest and like reset? What happens to me is that, like in No Piuesca, you know, the famous, when it just gets really hard.
Yeah.
And I feel the tension building and my jaw tensing. And the more I think, just relax, the more I tense.
Of course.
So I think I should
Relax.
just think of something else and just gear my attention somewhere else. What would you recommend?
I mean, the way of working coloratura, especially the really long phrases, is the second you get caught up in a vertical pattern, it's exhausting. You have to go, that diesel train we were talking about earlier in the Mozart, you have to, and it should feel like it's in this kind of a range. And it's just, all it is consistency of breath, legato, and this forward direction, which can also be kind of that direction, but that's another thing. And I think that, you know, slow it down. Oftentimes those things are only 2 measures long. You look at it and it's only 2 measures, where another phrase might be 5 measures long, but it's, you know, done in a way where it's fluid and it doesn't seem quite, you look at it and your brain goes, right? So keep it really simple. Go back to the breath, sing it on one vowel, sing it, make sure you do it sort of in a out of time, mix up the rhythm a little bit, dot the rhythms, make it, you know, stop on the first. Just keep confusing your brain so that it stays out of it. Your breath is always like, wait, that's my job. Get out of here, because you're like, I'll never make it, right? I think that's a good way of thinking. Yeah? Yes?
Conversely, to Connect's case, what would you recommend for someone who's confronted?
Somebody whose voice is too much in the mask. Chances are that's also a matter of putting it there. I gotta get it. Again, we're getting into territory that makes me so nervous. No, that's okay, because it's a good question. And sometimes you're going to go on this pendulum. You know, maybe in his case, he'll go too far forward, and then he'll have to back it off. But chances are there's tension somewhere making it go up there. So I would, for me, I'm going to back off volume. I'm going to back off the E vowel maybe, or make sure it's a really round towards oo. Oo would be a really good counterbalance, I think, to the E. And I would do ooh, not making sound, not singing, but informing the breath of what that track is. Ooh, E, E. Oh my gosh, it's the same track. Just the tongue is doing something different. Yeah, but I would put the foot off the gas a little bit and make sure the breath is spinning in an unobstructed way. I think the majority of time we talk about support, 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 and support the breath. I think the majority of the time, if you're feeling tense or you don't feel connected to the breath, it's because something's interfering with it. It's not often that you're not pushing enough or not supporting enough. There's something obstructing it. There's tongue tension, there's tightness in the chest, there's, you're not actually breathing down far enough. So freedom, 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 so that the breath can spin in the way that it's meant to do, like infants. They've got that mastered, and they didn't spend any money in graduate school. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a comment, you're in this week's New Yorker magazine. People want to know that.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll stay on questions or technique. Yeah.
When you were young, how did you mentally deal with getting told no and like failed auditions and stuff like that?
How did I mentally deal with getting told no? Yeah. That's a tough thing, because chances are you're going to hear no in a much higher percentage than you hear yes. And chances are in your lessons and your coachings and your things, you're going to be told everything that you're not doing right, everything that you have to fix. And I think building up a frame of reference and a context for those kinds of things is going to be your best friend. It's going to be an amazing way for you to keep your sanity. I think it's very important that you get very clear in your head about what they are critiquing or what they are rejecting, okay? Has nothing to do with you as a human being. That's really, 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 really important to know. That's hard though, because as singers, and at least the goal, what we want to do, I think what brings us to this is that we can infuse our entire person into that singing. And it's not an instrument. It's not outside of us. It's not a violin that gets its own special case and is protected and it's wrapped and it's put up in its own carrier and it's all safe. It's here and it's us. I think you have to keep coming back to the core of why you want to do this, why you want to pursue music and singing. If you get really clear on that, it's going to be hard to knock you off your center. I want to express. I want to make $1 billion. Find something else to do. I want to touch people's lives. I want to heal people with music. It's all those kind of things. If that's your purpose, why wouldn't you want to get better? Why wouldn't you want to be the best that you can be? And instead of looking at the people who are saying yes or no, or critiquing you or rejecting you as the enemy, if you switch that perspective and say, wow, they're helping me. This is great. I do need to work on that eval. Or I am blah, 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 whatever your particular story is. If you're coming to an audition or a masterclass or a school looking for approval and being told that you're a great human being, aren't you fabulous? You're going to get destroyed over and over and over and over again. And trust me, at every level of your career, if you go into this as a career, if that's where you're tying up your identity and you're giving that power away to other people, they will destroy you. Of course they will. But if you can keep coming back to home base and saying, you know what, wow, God, cry, cry with your friends, have your meltdown, absolutely, you need that release. But then you come back and it's an opportunity for you to realize why and re-examine why you want to do this and to get better. I know very few people. I really don't know anybody in this business that is purposefully brutal. I really don't. I've had brutal experiences, and I can look at them now and say, actually, they were right, or they were trying to help me. And if you look at them as a helper along the way, somebody who's helped guiding you, okay? The other thing you have to do, though, I don't see this so much with instrumentalists, but I see this with singers. We put everything in the hands of the people who are guiding us. Well, my teacher said, well, my coach said, well, my teacher said, well, my coach said, and we give them all the power. Sometimes that's important, but don't forget, you also know what you're doing. You have talent, okay? You have to find this wonderful balance of listening and taking in all that help, but also recognizing when maybe things are going down a path that you don't agree with. That's going to happen. A conductor is going to say, I was asked to sing Fidelio one time. And it's a really respected conductor. And I went, oh my gosh, he thinks I could sing. Wait, what? And so you have to always come back and be your own home base and decide what's best for you. So you have to be open to that criticism, but you also have to be discerning. See, isn't it amazing what we get to learn in this business? It's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah?
When you start something new, do you spend a significant amount of time just with the text before you put it into music?
When I start something new, do I spend a lot of time on the text before the music? Depends on how much time I have. And sometimes it's like, I don't know. But yes, for me, the text is everything. I sort of come down on the side of the poet in terms of, is it the music, words first or music first? That's not to disregard the music, because I have a tremendous, it's a great tool for expression. I watch the way composers write, and they don't write a single note until they have words. And it's the words that give them color and key and harmony and line. So it's also the thing that I think sets us apart from other instrumentalists, is that the text is essentially our instrument. It's what our voice travels on. It's not just the two little pieces of gristle here, but it's the text that really is the whole purpose of opening up your mouth and phonating, that there's something to express and communicate. And that's what makes us amazing musicians. We get that. So for me, text is everything. However, once I've really, and I go into the subtext, and why is she saying tua instead of me and all that, of course, but I have to then back off, and I have to go very coldly into just the vocal preparation. Vowels, line, legato, position, breath, all that kind of stuff. Then hopefully I start marrying those two. Chances are, unless it's something really off in left field, chances are that vocal line in the text is going to line up pretty well. Mozart kind of knew what he was doing, So, but yeah, text for me is the heartbeat. Yeah.
How do you bring out the character you internalize out to the audience and refrain from keeping it all to yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. How do I put a character out to the audience and refrain from keeping it all for myself? Amazing advice I got from a director one time, Leonard Foglia. And I was doing Dead Man Walking, and it was this very, very emotionally charged scene where the mother, the prisoner, forgot to say goodbye to her son who's being executed in about 48 minutes. And I was feeling it, and I was feeling it, and I was feeling her pain, and I was all feeling it. And he was so great. He came up and he sort of pulled me aside, and he goes, Joyce, I get that you're feeling all this. I get it. He goes, but I'm in the audience, and I want to choose what you're feeling. I don't want you to decide for me. I want to be able to choose. Now that's a tricky thing to do in opera, because what we're doing is so exaggerated, or it can be so larger than life. And for me, he also gave this piece of advice to me too. The key is asking yourself if you're coming from a place of honesty or a place of something that is false. Because false can be really big. But false can also be really small. Truth can be small, and it can be enormous. So I think when I'm working on a very particularly devastating character, I will let myself feel that in rehearsal. I'll go to the point where I can't sing because I'm breaking down. I think it's important to access those emotions and know what they are. And then in comes practical self, and I'm like, okay, now I have a job to do. I need to make sure I can keep phonating till the end of the performance. So what do I need to do? I can feel where that boundary is, that emotional boundary, and I then know how to go around it. If my purpose is to communicate the text with utmost vocal integrity, musical integrity, simplicity, and I let it go through me, the audience is going to get it. I have to share this with you guys. It was one of the most amazing hours of my life, and it's on YouTube. You can find it. I spent an hour talking with Dame Janet Baker. And the last question that I asked her was how do you view the power of music and what it meant to you? And what do you think it meant to your audience? And she's so dignified and amazing. She's like, well, I can't really speak to how people reacted to my music. I was like, I can. But this is amazing. Put this in your here and keep coming back to it, because it will probably change for you over the years. She said, I viewed myself as a plate of glass through which the music and the emotion travels. My job as a singer was to keep that glass spotless. No streaks, no fog, no scratches. That's technique. That's diction, that's musicality, that's purity of intention. That's keeping the glass clean. And then you sit there and say, this isn't mine. I am the vessel. And you let it go through you. The less of you that you bring to it, am I okay? Does it sound okay? How do I sound? Do I sound okay? Was I in tune? Was it okay? Was it okay? Am I okay? Am I okay? The less of that you put onto it, the more purely it's going to come through. There's a time to analyze. You tape yourself, you listen, oh my God, I was so flat there, I was sharp, I was whatever, and there's a time to analyze that. But when you're in that moment, prepare yourself impeccably, not a single mark on that glass, and then you let it be what it's going to be in that moment. Make sense? You know, I mean, I tend to say this a lot, but it really is true, and it's good for me to keep reminding myself too. It's not about us. In that moment, it's not about us. We love music. We love singing. We're giving it our all. It feeds us in this wonderful way. But when we're in performance, we didn't pay the ticket. Our job is to give that experience to the people who saved a lot of money for it. Yeah. I think another question? Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Going about that, like sort of that balance that you keep speaking about, you know, I see you get so involved in like a character preparation, just in like, you know, you get so taken with it, which is so cool. But then at the same time, you have such an amazing, you know, ability to look at the music and just say, play out, you know, there's that. And did you find growing into your profession kind of thing, that it was difficult to have such an amazing balance of both things? Or you know, was one, you know, more prevalent over the other, or how did it kind of evolve?
Yeah, he's asking about this balance between the emotional involvement with the character and then the musical integrity, basically, the technical thing. That is a balance. That is that holy grail of the perfect balance. I'm always searching for that. And I take on a new role, and I give too much, I don't give enough, and I'm always searching for that. I work from sort of opposite ends, a little bit to follow up on the text question. So, and also yours. So in rehearsal, I want to know what it is to go all out theatrically. Then I want to know what it is, the Sitzprobe, when the Sitzprobe comes and you just get to like, phonate, that's a great thing. And I keep trying to bring those two things closer and closer together. The more successful I am in marrying those two things, oddly enough, the clearer the drama is, the easier the singing is. If you can find the way where they're never working in opposition, but they're really working in tandem, they help each other immensely. Because you don't have to work so hard to get the drama out because the voice is doing it. And the drama, rather than working against, is actually infusing vocal color. And the more I line up the consonants on the breath, the clearer they are, the more they arrive out there, the more expressive they are. So I work at different ends, but then I'm always amazed at the end how complementary they are and how indistinguishable they are. But in terms of preparation, I need to work in separate worlds. I will have, in a staging rehearsal, especially when it's an overtly dramatic role or it's something new where I'm still finding the pacing for it, I'll go up to the director or the conductor and saying, look, I'm not singing today. I'm just, I'm going to worry about the staging. Oh, yeah, no problem. Or I'll go to the, first time it's orchestra stage, I always go to the director and I say, look, I know I'm not going to really go all out today. I'm going to be on the conductor a little bit more tonight. And that's me going, okay, voice, this is what we need to do. Then, okay, character, this is what and I'll let myself really go 100% in each direction. Then I know where those boundaries are. This is learning what to do from a purely technical standpoint. This is knowing what the theatrical journey is. And then I marry them. Yeah. One more question? Any students before I know? Yeah.
I'm sure you get these sorts of questions a lot. But do you have a ritual or a technique you use day of, assuming we're prepared technically and prepared dramatically, we know what we're doing, and then we get to that day, and it's a one-shot deal, and you get to sing, which is and you're scared, and you can't control it because it's your body.
Yeah.
Do you have any just ways that you found?
I mean, primarily like nerves.
Yeah, physiologically,
Yep.
there's the way that you can trick your body into relying on what it already has.
Haha. Okay, the day of big performance, and there's a lot going through in your mind. You probably haven't slept because you can't stop the music the night before, and you're nervous and you're excited and all that. Part of it is just experience, and every single singer will have their own thing. I need to sleep, but I probably haven't gotten sleep until like late in the morning, early hours of the morning. So I'll stay in bed. That's like, there's no bonbons, but I will sleep late in the morning. Because for me, rest is ground zero. If my body is rested, then at least I know that that's going to work for me. For me, I'm going to want to do a light physical workout of some sort. I'm not going to go run a marathon. Not that I do that anywhere. But I'm going to do some yoga. I'm going to do some stretching. I'm going to wake up my body. I'm going to eat something really that's going to fortify me in a good way. So I'm going to put in motion all the things that are going to give me the opportunity for success. Okay? But the biggest battle is going to happen up in my head. And part of reminding myself that I really am prepared. I'm so nervous, but let's be objective. Okay, first orchestra rehearsal went really well. Second orchestra rehearsal went really well. Sitzprobe, okay, went pretty well. Final dress, there was that and that, but the odds are, unless I do something drastically different, I'm going to have a modicum of success because history is telling me that. So I keep it really black and white and kind of boring. Like if I'm a computer analyst, I'm going to say, well, profits were up 4% every year. But the chances are, no guarantee this year they're going to be up, but I try and keep it really simple. The more I complicate it up here, I just do myself in. That's a little bit, we talked the last time a lot about the inner voice when I was here last time and what that does. The question I keep coming back to is this helping me or hurting me? Is my way of thinking productive or destructive? First of all, you have to tune into the voice, that inner voice of what's happening, and then you have to actually realize that it's there and then start listening to it and go, holy cow, it's really destructive. The day you're not ready, it's going to be a disaster. What if the high notes don't work? Oh my God, what if you're nervous? What if you crack? What if you na. I was working with a colleague earlier and it was very funny. We were doing staging and it wasn't working. And all of a sudden she stopped and she's like, because la 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 la. And of course, all of us go through that, but I stopped. We were really good friends. So I could say this. I was like, do you realize you just fast forwarded a whole month and went through all this whole thing? And I said, we just need to find the right position here. That's all. It's just sit up a little bit more or lay down a little bit more. Your career is not ending, So it's just trying to really keep this, again, it's the plate of glass. The cleaner this is, the more you're going to do. Also physiologically, I know it's really stupid, but when the nerves come and the sweaty palms happen and the heart rate starts happening, it's just a fight or flight syndrome. There's nothing complicated. It's not that the weight of the world is on your shoulders and if this show doesn't go well, your career is over. No, your body's just going, I'm nervous. Should I stay or should I go? No. So physiologically, these things happen. You know, honestly, one of the silliest but simplest ways you can combat it, you smile and you laugh. I'm always having to do jokes backstage. Because if you smile, your body goes, oh, everything's good. If you go like, so I'm not sure that really counts. I'm smiling more, I'm still nervous. It's not working! But go up to somebody, get a hug, look at them and say, have a great show, and start going out. And I mean, you're all going to find the way that you need to organize your own energy for a show. Everybody has to go with their thing. Mine is to go out and reach people like, hey, let's have a great show and all of that. Because physiologically, then the body is like, oh, no problem here. We're all good. Good to go. But the work that you're going to do up here, not only for your career, but for your life, is going to be the stuff that helps you enjoy it more. Yeah. I think we have to call it a day. I'm so sorry. Beautiful job to the singers. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, you guys. Thank you, guys. Have a great year. Have a great year.